Hey BC, it's Ron. Thanks for joining me. I got some recent finds, and I'm sitting here enjoying a couple of extra days off. I don't have to go back to work till Thursday, so I'm digging that. So I managed to get a couple of good piles from two different record stores recently. So I'm going to show those. And what's on the turntable right now, it's a band called Hard Meat, and they were a British band out of Birmingham, UK, and this is their second album. The first album I've not heard, but I heard it's a little bit heavier than this one. This one rocks, but it's sort of like in the prog rock vein. Mellow, hard-edged stuff. Very cool album. It's rated about 3.5 stars, and it's on Warner Brothers label. Both of their albums released in the U.S. on Warner Brothers. It's on the Green label, and it's a power trio. Had a couple of brothers in the band who are now both deceased, and just really cool band to check out. Hard Meat. This next one I got is the 3 o'clock, and this is an album that, actually it's an EP, a 4-song EP that came out. It's copyrighted 82, I think it might have come out 83, I'm not sure. But really good 5-song EP, and I got a nice near mint copy. The singer of this band is credited with coining the term Paisley Underground, which they were very much a part of. And I actually saw these guys, and I'm thinking it was probably 1986 is when I saw them, because I'm going by, I don't have any recorded record of when I saw them, but I'm going by the time frame. My friend had just moved to LA, and I'm pretty sure he was not around when I saw them. So I'm thinking it was 86, and the band I believe broke up in 88. But yeah, really, really good record, and it's on the Frontier Records. And this is their first release as the 3 o'clock. Before this, they were known as the Salvation Army, and they had to change their name because they were being threatened with a lawsuit from the charity foundation. So yeah, glad to grab it. I never had this one, but I did have the Salvation Army record before. This next one I got is Freaks of Nature, and this is a Phoenix band. It was recorded in 2014, and it was released last year, 2015. And this is a German release on Screaming Apple, and it's all originals, and except for 2 cover versions. They do a cover version of Don't Blow Your Mind by the Spiders, early Alice Cooper band, and then they do what else do they do? Can't Tame Me, originally by the 60s garage band The Benders. Really cool, top-notch, snotty punk, 60s punk, really, really cool. And that was cheap. That was only like 13 bucks, and that's a German import, and it was new. So yeah, I got that locally, so I saved, I think I saved a pretty good chunk of change on that, getting it here. This next one is the Rotary Connection, and this is their first album. And this band featured Vinnie Ripperton, who would go on into 70s and have some popularity then. She was discovered as she was a receptionist at Chess Records, and that's how she was discovered. It's on cassette, Cadet Concept. Come out in 68, I believe. And this is a good album. It's really polished, produced album, a lot of orchestration. I like it, but I think I like their second album, Aladdin, better. It was just more appealing to me, more psychedelic, I would think. And but still, nonetheless, very, very cool album. And then I got another mono electric Prunes. I had too much to dream last night, and this is a US copy. And I got a good buy on this, and I'll tell you why. The cover itself is an upgrade for me compared to what I did have. And but the vinyl is fairly clean, but it's got that ugly Reprise haze that you'll see on Reprise records from time to time. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll try and get it on the camera. It's just like this marbleized haze that's on the vinyl. And there's a lot of debate of what caused this. Everything from temperature, environment conditions, humidity, whatever. Bag rash, being stored in non-acid free bags. Personally, I kind of got an idea that it was just where it was pressed and the quality of vinyl that was used. Because this seems to happen not only in plastic poly bags, but in paper sleeves as well. For being stored a long time and never being pulled out. And I think these were stored a long time. The pile that I got, I think, was stored a long time because they were kind of dirty, and I had to do some pretty heavy cleaning on them. But I got a good price on it, and the cool thing about it, it's uncut. It doesn't have usually these Reprise will have a grommet up in the corner, metal grommet, and that doesn't have one. So I was just, pretty pleased to get it, just for the cover upgrade. And this is the one that I had, and you can see a little difference. This one has better coloring to it. The electric Prunes is darker yellow compared to this one. And it's cut off more here than it is here. And this one has got more of a margin here. See where the logo is? Now look on this one. So, and they're from two different factories. There's a factory code down here at the bottom. It says GAM, and on this one it is looks like CSC. So two different factory codes. They came from two different places. This is the one that I had with the grommet. The vinyl is full of luster, clean, and it's just super shiny. So, like I say, I think it just depends on where it was pressed and the vinyl that was used. But it's, it kind of, it might sound a little sick in saying this, but it adds to the rarity of these albums. With so many copies that have been damaged like that, it just makes the shiny ones, that have the luster, I think it makes them more valuable in a way, because there's less of them around. This next one I got is Shanty, and I believe this is their only album. It came out in '71. It's on Atlantic label, the green and red Atlantic label. And this is a really good mixture of East meets West, meaning Eastern world music mixed with American rock. Very cool. It's instrumental and vocal. Long jammy songs, and these guys could play. You listen to this album and you will be impressed by their musicianship. Fantastic. And this pops up in the record stores every once in a while, but you know, if you see it, it's going to be cheap, so grab it because it's a very, very good album. Shanty. Okay, now I'm going to show some UK stuff. This is by Andrew Leigh, and it's called Magician. And this is a very scarce album. It came out in 1970 in the UK, but it was released in '71 in the US. And it is on the London Sire label, the same label that had the Deviants in the US. And this is like a 3-star album. I think it's more, if you're more of a big prog fan, you're gonna like it. The cover art does not reflect the music. I was totally surprised by the sound of the music compared to the cover art. It's a lot of mixtures of style. Progressive folk rock, not too much psych, but a little bit here and there, and a lot of varied instruments, and a little birdsy country, a little rock. It's like a mixed bag of all different things. And this guy was a bass player. He played his Spooky Tooth at one time, and he put this album together. It's his only album, and it's really, you know, for a bass player to put an album like this out, he did quite a good job. I like it, but I don't love it, because I just have different tastes in music. But somebody else I think is gonna really like this. The cool thing about it, he's got a lot of professional musicians backing him up on this. Members from Mighty Baby are on this album, and members of the mod UK band The Action are on this album, and Gary Wright plays piano on some of the tracks. So, pretty cool one and not easily found. Then I got another copy of Mr. Fantasy by Traffic. And this has an original shrink with the price sticker of $2.50 on it. It's not a cutout. And this is on the black and red United Artists label with the Mr. Fantasy title. So this is a second pressing. So I got this for like $5, and VG Plus vinyl, great cover for $5. Good deal. Then this one I picked up, I kind of knew what I was buying, but I thought, well, there might be some cool songs on it. It's Marmalade, Reflections of My Life. And you probably heard the title song. It was a big hit, and it's total Hollies. I mean, I always thought it was the Hollies, as a matter of fact, but I mean, the Hollies could have took that song too, and they could have had a massive hit with it. But pretty cool song. And then it's got another really cool pop psych song, opens up side 2. It's called Kaleidoscope, and I like both of those songs a lot. This was a cheap album, a near mint copy. I thought I would just pick it up. It's on the London label. So yeah, for the money, you know, I mean, I didn't go wrong. Then I got the second Gantz album, excuse me, not Nance, Gantz. About 66, and this is a really good garage album. It's a stereo copy, and it's all like they did other people's songs. They weren't songwriters. They did other people's songs, and they did cover versions. I don't know if these are all cover versions or not, but a lot of these songs that are on this album I never heard before. So yeah, this is a really good album. Now I'm just gonna have to find that third one. Okay, this is done in Cache, Mobius, and this came out in 1969. And I thought it was gonna be more like some sort of a prog album, and it isn't really. It's sort of pop psych, folk psych. Mixtures of style. Pretty good album. It's their only album, and it came out on Capitol, and it's on the short-lived green label. This label was in existence between 69 and 71. Kenny Loggins plays on this album. He plays guitar on some of the tracks, as does Mark Tulin, who was the bass player in the Electric Prunes, plays on this album. And another cool thing about this album, it has a song on here called Lydia Purple. And Lydia Purple was originally done by the Collectors on their first album, but these guys wrote it. So they did the second version of it on this album. So they did their own song. It's very much like the Collector's version. Equally as good, I think. These guys were, you know, good songwriters, good singers. Pretty good album, and pretty obscure actually. Not an expensive album, you know, but pretty cool. Okay, now I got a Grail, and I got a great price on this sucker. It was up on the wall, and it's, I don't know, this record store I go to, things slip through the cracks, and I make some pretty nice scores there. So I got the first Led Zeppelin album. This is a US copy. The cover's not in the greatest of condition. It's got seam split here with tape wrapped around it. It's got this cool letter sticker for envelopes up on the cover. And look at that vintage sticker with the psychedelic pattern on the end of it. I mean, that's totally cool. So here it is, folks. This is the rare first pressing on the plum and tan label. The vinyl is excellent. It's not a real strong excellent, but you look at the vinyl, there's no major scratches, nothing ugly, no, plays fine, no ticks, pops, little surface is all. Really good fidelity. And what I did some research. I've always known about these, and they used to go in the 90s. They were going for about 150 bucks near mint, and now they're going for some have sold for as much as 800 near mint. I saw a few that sold online in this condition, and they went for 300. And let me tell you, I didn't pay anywhere near that. It wasn't cheap. Now, it wasn't like dirt cheap, but it was cheap compared to $300. Let's just say that. So I'm pretty happy with it. And I did a little research on it. And I always kind of wondered, is this Record Club? There's a lot of debate of what this thing is. Is it Record Club? Which I kind of used to think that it was. Is it just some sort of a weird, short-lived version that got out, or what? But I did some research, and I was looking at a website that was showing variances in Atlantic label designs for the US. And this is the fifth, I believe it was the fifth label design for Atlantic. Okay? And it was in existence between 1968 and I think it was 1967. Might have been 67 to 68 or 68 to 69, something like that. But this album was recorded in October of 1968, and it was released in the US January of 1969. So I'm thinking that these were just some old labels that the factory had and they were using them up. Because I think if, at other factories where this record was pressed, it came out on the more well-known green and red Atlantic label. And if you look at the matrix numbers in the groove, it's got this one I believe is an S2. No, 2S, excuse me. 2S, and then on side 2 it is a 4S. Now that's matrix code for RCA records. So this record was actually farmed out to RCA, and they pressed it. And from what I understand, that particular RCA factory is the only factory that issued those labels. So, and the quality of this record has a tendency to sound better than pressings from other factories, especially later pressings of Led Zeppelin 1. So I'm really blown away to get that. And the weird thing is, UK copies, first pressing UK copies, $8,000 near mint, those have sold for. That is not even the first pressing on the planet. The first pressing on the planet is this, US copies. Like I said, this is issued January of '69. This album was not released in the UK until the end of March '69, over 2 months later. This was released January 12th, 1969 in the US, 4 days before my 9th birthday. So, yeah, not the most expensive pressing, but it is the first commercially available pressing in the world. That's pretty amazing when you think about it. So I am very pleased to own that. And this is a later 70s pressing of Led Zeppelin 1. And you can see it's got two different text colors on it. And the back is different too as far as coloring. And on the original cover, this is a lot better quality of an image than on this one. This is kind of faded and hazy, and this is more sharp and clear. So yeah, just ecstatic. Okay, I am going to put on this record real quick, and it is The Weeds. Okay, the Weeds were actually the Lollipop Shop, and the Weeds were the original name. So this is Lollipop Shop, and the original record of this was released in '66 out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and it was released on the Teen Beat Club label, I believe. And yeah, the songs are It's Your Time and a cover version of Them's Little Girl. Killer stuff here. And This is a reissue from January of '88 that came out, and it's got a cardstock sleeve wraparound. And this was actually released on Behemoth Records out of Las Vegas. So it was released out of their town. And it comes with an insert. A little history of the band. And a photo and an interview. Near mint copy. Picked it up locally, so that was a nice score. One more album and then I'll let you guys go. I got a mono copy of the first Monkeys, and this is the first issue with Papa Gene's Blues, with Gene spelled like the female Gene. And so it's on the cover, and it is also on the label as well. Vinyl's not in the greatest of condition, but the cover is. It looks like the shrink had just been pulled off of it. So this was only $2, so man, I had to grab this. So cool to get that. And you can see the difference between the mono and the stereo. So pretty big difference there. Okay, just flipped the record over, so we're listening to a little bit of side 2 of that Weeds, and it's time to let you guys go. Hey, it's been real. Thanks for tuning in on me, and not much to say except happy holidays, and I will definitely be seeing you guys in the new year. So stay safe and happy hunting, and I'll catch you guys in 2017. See ya.